What's up, guys? It's Christian here, and welcome back to the Adventures of an AvGeek, where today we are reacting to three simple flying news videos. And so the first one we have here, so the three that we have on our slate today is about the United States' largest unserved route, about a video about how the Airbus A350 was supposed to be an upgraded Airbus A330, and a video that answers a question of, are there any Lockheed Martin L-1011s still flying? So, excuse me, the first video that we'll start with is this video by Simple Flying. It is called 229,000 Annual Passengers, the USA's largest unserved route. And this video was made 5 days ago. So I'll tell you guys real quick. I tried to guess because I saw this video in my recommended like within the last week or so, and I tried to guess what the largest unserved route in the United States might be, and I was like, oh, is it this city, this city, this city, this city? I'm like, you know what, man? There's way too many cities in the United States for me to just like analytically think of a guess. So I'll just have to throw up a random guess. And that random guess I've come to is Miami and Oklahoma City. Between those two cities, that is my guess for the United States' largest unserved route. What would you guess? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, let's figure out what is the United States' largest unserved route.
For airlines, there's a lot of valuable data floating around out there. Based on traveller bookings, they know which city pairs are in high demand and make efforts to replace one or multi-stop itineraries with direct flights. But which city pair is the largest unserved route for the United States? Let's find out for today's video.
And that's honestly something that I'm really interested in, is routes and route planning and why certain routes work better than others. I'm sure there's a way that I could like study that out more, and maybe I react to like some more videos about routes with you guys. But I remember watching a Wendover Productions video way back that was talking about how airlines structure their routes. And one time within the last few years, it might have been like 2018 or something, that American Airlines launched a route between Chicago and Beijing, and it was thought, oh, these are two big cities, and we're connecting them with each other, so we're probably going to make a lot of money with this, right? They were wrong. They were like $80 million below what they thought they would bring in from that route. Anyways, I just think this stuff is really interesting. So, just like y'all, I'm happy to figure out what is the USA's largest unserved route.
Examining booking data
Excuse
for
me.
the 12 months to September 2023, we can see that the US's largest unserved market saw about 229,000 round trip passengers over the span of a year. In case you haven't guessed it, the route is between Los Angeles and Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam.
Okay, that was actually weird. That I thought it was going to be a route between two U.S. cities. Okay, wait. Repeat. What was it again?
Here. In case you haven't guessed it, the route is between Los Angeles and Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam.
Hmm.
Indeed, all passengers flew via a hub en route. Driven by the Vietnamese diaspora, students, tourists, and more, the market saw an average of 314 passengers daily each way between January and September 2023.
Wow.
Given the lack of non-stop flights, booking data shows more passengers transited in Taipei than anywhere else. This was followed by Seoul Incheon, Tokyo Narita, Singapore, and Hong Kong. According to GC Map, flying via the Taiwanese capital adds 0 miles or kilometers to what a non-stop service would be, based on how a crow flies. Nope, not a single mile. Of course, in the real world, there will be additional time and distance covered, but it does appear that Taipei is as perfect a stopover as can be,
Hmm.
at least in terms of location. Booking data estimates that Taiwan's EVA Air carried about 40% of the passengers, making Vietnam's most populous city by far EVA's top connecting market to or from Los Angeles.
Wow.
Asiana was next, with nearly half that proportion. While the traffic is more than enough to warrant non stop service, there are barriers. The very long distance, 8,169 miles or 13,146 kilometers, coupled with the nature of demand, means that average fares are relatively low, precisely what is not needed for such a long non stop service. This reflects the general lack of premium demand in the market. In the examined 12 months, booking data suggests that the average one way fare on Los Angeles Ho Chi Minh across all bookings, excluding fuel surcharge and taxes, was about $700. In contrast, while Los Angeles Tokyo Narita covered a third less distance, its average fare was 35% plus higher.
Hmm.
Long haul markets require a healthy amount of high yielding premium traffic to work. That's precisely why Singapore Los Angeles, for example, is served so often.
Yeah.
But what about San Francisco? Vietnam Airlines launched Ho Chi Minh San Francisco in late 2021, becoming the first regular service between the two nations. That was despite being a smaller point to point market than Los Angeles. On a per mile or kilometer basis, booking data shows that the average fare between Los Angeles or San Francisco and Ho Chi Minh City per mile was relatively similar.
Hmm.
Vietnam Airlines seems to get a premium fare for non stop point to point travel. This is just as well, given that nearly three times more San Francisco passengers are local than continue elsewhere.
Hmm.
Point to point passengers are ordinarily higher yielding and cost less than those who transit, so long as each flight is sufficiently busy. All of this should help Vietnam Airlines evaluate the business case for Los Angeles. One thing is clear, the market is big, but can it get the economics to work? This remains to be seen. What do you make of it all? Let us know in the comments section.
Could this be a profitable route? I mean, probably. I mean, it has the passenger traffic to be profitable. I mean, yeah, but I think based on what the video is talking about, that it's yeah, you don't have like it's so hard to compete in the long haul market that you need to be so strategic about what kind of kind of route you make. So on it, but and nevertheless, yeah, I think it could be profitable. All right, and now with that, we will go on to the next video, which is about how the Airbus A350 was supposed to be an upgraded A330, which confuses me with that statement, right? Because in essence, the Airbus A340 was an upgraded Airbus A330. So let's see what this is about. Oh, am I going to get an ad? I got an ad.
Well, what if I told you every time you put a dollar into a Fidelity app?
No, no affiliation with Fidelity or any advertiser yet. I'm still only haven't been monetized on YouTube yet.
On October 6th, 2005, Airbus held the industrial launch event for its new aircraft, the long range A350 family, consisting of the Dash 900 and Dash 800. This new type was the company's answer to the Boeing 787. While it was designed to incorporate the latest technologies of the time, including composite wings and new engines, the aircraft looked startlingly similar to the A330.
Wow.
So, what happened? Designing an aircraft and bringing it to market is a tremendous undertaking that consumes large amounts of time, energy, and financial resources. Throughout this lengthy process, numerous changes may be made to the original design. It's precisely what has happened between the original A350 and the production model we see flying today. Indeed, the two jets look pretty different from one another, but the A350, when it was first launched, looked incredibly similar to the A330. Sharp edged angular winglets with a nose that had a nearly identical profile to the A330. Cockpit windows appeared to have the same arrangement as well, complete with that little notch on the top corner of the last window on each side. In short, the A350 was meant to be an enhanced version of its A330 platform. In case you haven't seen it yet, the video from the 2005 launch event gives us a good idea of just how much Airbus changed between the product launch and the production model. Indeed, it wasn't just a difference in appearance. As noted in a presentation slide displayed at the event, the aircraft was also supposed to be powered by General Electric's Gen X power plant, the
Mm.
A350 Gen X. As you may already know, this did not remain part of the plan, as the A350 in its final form continues to be exclusively powered by the Rolls-Royce Trent XWB power plant.
Mm.
While the industry launch event would see Airbus announce commitments from 9 customers for 140 firm orders, some in the industry were unhappy with the 2005 design. Indeed, some of the plane maker's largest customers were publicly critical of the A350, including aircraft lessors and Singapore Airlines. As noted by Aviation
That's
Week, Stephen
interesting.
F. Udvar-Hazy, chairman of
Sorry,
International.
I had to say that. That is interesting. And it reminds me of whenever Airbus wanted to make an aircraft called the Airbus A380 Plus, but Emirates was like, "Hey, well, yeah, this is okay, but we would buy this plane if it had this," and so that's why Airbus just decided to say forget it with the Airbus A380 Plus. But yeah, honestly, like it being so okay, so it wasn't so similar to the Airbus A330 because it had different engines. But honestly, like seeing the Airbus A350 now, I think everything has worked out for the better with it. So yeah, it's very interesting how things have turned out here.
Be critical of the A350, including aircraft lessors and Singapore Airlines. As noted by Aviation Week, Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy, chairman of International Lease Finance Corp or ILFC, publicly criticized Airbus's design, stating that it was too dependent on the A330.
Mm.
Udvar-Hazy urged the manufacturer to scrap its plan and commit to a clean sheet design. The president of GE Capital Aviation Services, or GCAS, shared this sentiment as well. Listening to some of its largest customers, Airbus returned to the drawing board and redesigned the A350, unveiling the revision at the 2006 Farnborough Air Show.
Wow,
This new
they went through a whole redesign of their aircraft in 1 year. That is incredible.
design would be much closer to the final production model, sporting curved blended winglets in addition to sleek curved cockpit windows. Around the same time, Airbus would close the door on the possibility of powering the A350 with Gen X power plants. According to the Aero News Network, Airbus Chief Commercial Officer John Leahy was quoted as saying, Gen X engines don't work for us at all. We have no intention of putting their Gen X engine on the A350 at all. It has to be a generation beyond.
Mm.
Are you surprised by how much Airbus changed between its initial A350 design and the production model? Let us know by
Yeah, I think I'm very surprised that we could have possibly seen a much different Airbus A350 than we see today. But I am not surprised that they received that type of criticism for their design. Of course, like granted, as humans, we can it's possible for us to feel the emotion that is called boredom. So it's easy to assume like an outsider's, I'm not going to say an outsider's, but like there is a certain perspective that says, hey, Airbus, we have, you use, you have the Airbus A330. You made the thing bigger and with 4 engines with the Airbus A340. And now with the Airbus A350, you're just going to take the Airbus A330, but have, you know, a different engine and a very, very similar design to the Airbus A330. Like, really? Is that all you can do? And so I think that actually worked out for Airbus really well because they've created an aircraft now that is a, how do I say, it is one of the main aircraft that you see in the long haul space. And it, as I covered before, it was United Airlines ordered that to continue to replace their aging 777s, you know, choosing it over the Boeing 777X. So I think this really did work out for Airbus, and I'm really amazed by how they evolved the design from what it initially was. So, yeah, that's very interesting to learn. It makes me happy that we didn't see this Airbus A350 because, again, like I am here at home as I uh, go to school at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and I'm here at home now for Christmas break. And I in Vegas, where home is, we have an Airbus A350 of British Airways that flies between here and London Heathrow. And that is a fantastic plane to observe. Anyways, final video. Are there any Lockheed L-1011 still flying? So I thought this was going to be a boring video to react to, but I wanted to watch it still because with the trijets, there are the L-1011, DC-10, and the MD-11. I've seen the DC-10 and MD-11 in real life, and I haven't seen the L-1011 in real life ever. So I'm really curious as to if there are any Lockheed Martin L-1011s still flying. And then again, I keep saying Lockheed Martin, but it may just be maybe I don't know, maybe something like McDonnell Douglas, where like it was McDonnell, but then Douglas came along later. I digress, but so let's get into this video.
The Lockheed L-1011 TriStar was one of the defining aircraft of the early wide-body era and the third twin-aisle jet to enter service. It followed the Boeing 747 and the McDonnell Douglas DC-10, with 250 units being produced.
Wow.
While the type saw its last scheduled passenger operations in 2008, are there any of these aircraft still active? To answer the main question of this video, one remains active today.
What?
Indeed, the only active Lockheed TriStar left in the world is a nearly 50-year-old L-1011-100, which bears the American registration November 140 Sierra Charlie. This
Wow.
aircraft has had an interesting career since its first flight in February 1974. A month later, it was delivered to its first user, Air Canada. As pictured here, the aircraft bore the registration Charlie Foxtrot Tango November Juliet during its time at Air Canada. This period ultimately ended in October 1990 after more than 16 years of service at the Canadian flag carrier. Following this, it underwent a 19-month operational hiatus, but then found a second lease of life elsewhere. Indeed, in May of 1992, the aircraft was re-registered as November 140 Sierra Charlie when it was acquired by the Orbital Sciences Corporation. Rather than continuing to be used to fly paying passengers on a commercial basis, Orbital instead opted to convert the trijet to serve as none other than an airborne launch pad for Pegasus rockets. Following this conversion, the first launch using the jet took place in 1994 and involved the Pegasus XL rocket. According to Northrop Grumman.
Real quick, I want to say that this stuff is really cool on the note that, a lot of passenger aircraft will get converted to freighters after they are done serving passengers, but some will get used for space purposes like this. And another one that's really cool, if you guys look it up, it is, I think if you search up on Google Virgin Atlantic Cosmic Girl, you will find a Boeing 747 that used to fly for Virgin Atlantic and got converted to where it can carry, like under its right wing, it can carry, if I'm not I think it was supposed to carry like this missile like thing. And I've seen the plane in real life as well at the, man, I forget what that place is called, but it's like someplace in the middle of the desert. Let me look at. No, I can't look it up. I'll leave a comment if I remember the name of this place. But yeah, they had like a bunch of retired planes. Like I saw one of the memorable planes that I saw there was a China Southern Airbus A380, like in the middle of the desert, just sitting there. But yeah, this Virgin Atlantic 747 named the Cosmic Girl, now like working for Virgin Galactic for their purposes. So yeah, very, very, very cool stuff. Just wanted to say that it's very cool to see planes get repurposed for space and being used for that.
Such rockets are used to deliver satellites into orbit. The company explains that they're deployed from the L-1011 over the open ocean at an altitude of approximately 40,000 feet. The rockets typically ignite after 5 seconds of freefall, after which it takes them just over 10 minutes to deliver their satellites into orbit.
Wow.
As seen here, the rockets are stored and deployed from the underside of the vintage trijet, which bears the name Stargazer.
Wow.
In 2015, Orbital merged with ATK into Orbital ATK, and Northrop Grumman inherited the L-1011 in 2018 when it acquired this company. With the aircraft's 50th birthday nearing, November 140 Sierra Charlie isn't getting any younger, and it seems its days may be numbered. Indeed, tracking data from radarbox.com shows that its last flight took it from Goodyear, Arizona to Mojave, California, with the latter being known, among other things, as a storage location and...
But I will say, it was in Mojave, California where I saw the Cosmic Girl aircraft. So yeah, that's kind of sad to see that this plane is also getting into its death, as that's literally the first way I describe it. Like that's just it. Like the plane's dying. It's like 50 years old. Let's just say there. But yeah, the plane, that's where I saw the Cosmic Girl plane, was in Mojave, California.
Radarbox.com shows that its last flight took it from Goodyear, Arizona to Mojave, California, with the latter being known, among other things, as a storage location and boneyard for retired aircraft. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. What do you make of the last remaining Lockheed L-1011? For our older viewers, did you ever fly on the TriStar back in the day? Let us know your thoughts and experiences in the comments section.
Yeah, I mean, that is really cool to see that the L-1011 got used for that kind of stuff. That is amazing. And I have to say, like, those trijets, little side tangent, those trijets are so cool. The L-1011, DC-10, MD-11, those, I could watch those planes all day long. And I was very, very privileged to have seen, I've seen the MD-11 more recently in the last couple of years in Vegas, whenever that FedEx flew MD-11s here because they normally fly Boeing 767s here. But I do remember, I'll probably never forget seeing in Los Angeles, and it's actually in one of my videos. If you look at LAX, if you search my channel, if you search Adventures of an AvGeek, LAX plane spotting at night, you'll see this one of the videos in my plane spotting video of LAX plane spotting at night. You'll see one of the planes was a FedEx DC-10 that when it took off, when it rotated, dude, it just went straight up. I had never seen a plane capable of making. Now, I've seen in air shows where the plane will just take off straight up just to show like the capability of the thing. But in a normal runway for a normal flight, I've never seen that. And it was awesome to see the DC-10 do such a thing. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like and comment and let me know what you think about everything that we talked about today. And I love doing this. It's awesome to connect with y'all over this stuff. So even so yeah, leaving a comment is very, very much appreciated. I will respond because I'm only getting like so many comments because I'm not that big of a YouTuber. So yeah, love you guys. Take care.